So one of the best investments of yours has been EFC, which is into managed offices co-working space. I have also had the opportunity to host the promoter Mr. Umesh Sai on my podcast. So इसमें आपका क्या thesis था? आपने कब entry किया था and कब आपने decide किया invest करना है, and what was your overall thesis?
So our first investment was at an enterprise value of 85 crores when it was
Oh.
undiscovered. I still remember Umesh used to borrow money at 4-5% a month to run the business. And he was sustaining. And I think the key differentiator came in when COVID came. Offices were shut. And what differentiated him, co-working was the buzzword. But he was into managed offices. I think that's what he sailed that period, and he kind of sustained the COVID and turned around from there. He was more into managed offices than co-working.
क्या difference होता है दोनों में?
So co-working is 1-person company, 2-person company. दो दोस्तों ने सोचा आज कंपनी शुरू करते हैं तो एक co-working space में चले गए, डेस्क ले लिया. 6 महीने बाद एक दोस्त को लगा यार नहीं मेरे को तो नौकरी करनी है, छोड़कर चला गया, रेंट नहीं आएगा. And your occupancy, so it's very volatile. It's more towards the startup ecosystem. Managed offices is more like you've taken an entire floor or entire building, and then you lease out 1,500, 2,000 foot, depending on किसको कितना चाहिए, customize करके office देते हो. And you have common facilities like meeting area common है आपका, meeting rooms common है, toilets common है, pantry common है. So common spaces में आपका space utilize नहीं होता. So you don't have to spend on creating a meeting room and block that space. And your reception is common, your security is common, so you save on those costs. So he was into managed offices more. And what people did not realize, and between a WeWork or an office or SmartWorks, which are on the higher end of the chain, of course, a lot of PE VC money there. This was a bootstrap business. He was still making money. And he understood the unit economics much better. So, when a large player goes, they'll take a 30,000-40,000 square feet, hire an architect, interior designer. Furniture will come from a reputed brand, right from desk to chair, etc. And they never make money, or it takes a long time for them to make money. This guy got the unit economics right. 90% occupancy. Office खाली नहीं रहना चाहिए. Understood कि पैसा real estate में नहीं है, इसमें furniture में है. So this is more of a furniture business than real estate business, because that is where your margins are. Depreciation मिलता है. So he was one of the early movers to actually start doing backward integration into start manufacturing furniture, doing services in-house too. Electrician, plumber, architect, designing, everything was in-house. So saving a lot of costs there. And that's where he was profitable.
तो ये कैटेगरी में कोई भी बाकी जो कोवर्किंग स्पेसेस मैनेज्ड ऑफिसेस थे कोई प्रॉफिटेबल नहीं थे?
I mean, now they're becoming profitable. So SmartWorks office, they're becoming profitable now. But again, after burning a lot of capital, they achieved scale, and because of the scale, they're becoming profitable. His was more organic growth, but profitable growth. And with fairly high margins still. But because the margins were in the allied services, which he figured out better than the rest. And also what happens is when you have become a large corporate and you have employees and managers, etc., running the business, and whereas an entrepreneur who's rolled up his sleeves and running the business, they're two different things. The same passion, the same commitment will not come from an employee as compared to a founder. So that differentiated. They had access to a lot of capital. And again, if you look at all the, where the PVC money comes, largely the founders are presentable. They can make a proper pitch. They can present. Umesh doesn't fit any of those criteria. I always say, and I told one of the investors that उसको शायद business आता हो नहीं आता हो, धंधे की भी पूरी पकड़ है उसकी, वो अच्छे से समझता है. So that's a difference, and I think a lot of these opportunities also come in tier 2, tier 3 cities, like EFC. uh, दिल्ली बॉम्बे में आपको नहीं मिलती है उतनी अपॉर्चुनिटी. You have to go one level below as your hunting ground to find these people who are probably, who a PVC will not reach, or might not find them palatable because they cannot do a proper presentation and explain their business. But when you जाके बैठो हिंदी में, चौकड़ी मार के धंधा समझो, तो वो समझा देगा. That you find in tier 2, tier 3 cities. Most of our success stories are actually from tier 2, tier 3 cities.
Hmm. No, in fact, I read somewhere that abhi, even in the future, like most of the startup success stories are going to come from the tier 2, tier 3 cities of India, and वहाँ पर जो hunger होता है, वहाँ पर जो talent है, I think वो पूरा भी unleash होना बाकी है.
Your costs are much lower, whether it's your office cost, whether your employee cost. So as a startup ecosystem, if I'm starting through an idea or I'm innovating, those costs matter a lot, especially in the beginning. The hunger is much higher. The distractions are much less. So multiple factors which come in. Uh, why I always say this is like, you can draw an analogy to why so many Indians are doing well globally. We look at the global companies, a lot of CEOs are Indians, whether it's Google or Microsoft or Adobe or others. Largely because I always say, हम गरीब देश से हैं एक जमाने में, कॉलोनियल पास था, सो यू रूल्ड. तो एक वो इच्छा बहुत है कि बाहर जाके अच्छा करने की. You want to prove yourself and you work harder. And that is the same mindset which is there in the tier 2, tier 3 cities. It's there in the large cities also, but not as much.